A lot of conversation is going to be about how bad the Giants are and how big of an embarrassment they are and how miserable Daboll was afterwards and how we had to stay up all night because it was only a 2-score game. Yep. So they're kind of dangling a carrot that they might come back into this thing. At any moment, they might be able to catch fire like the Jets were able to do on Sunday night in the second half of the whole thing. They didn't. They threw a 97-yard pick six, kind of sealed that thing very late into the night we stayed up for. But let's talk about that pick six. That's a rookie. Yeah. That Seattle Seahawks defense gets Jamal Adams back. Loses Jamal Adams. Him and Minka kind of play in a similar fashion flying around. It was great to see him get that big tackle. But why haven't we talked about the Seahawks defense? Are they all the way back, or is it because the Giants stink that bad?
I think it's a combo, but the biggest part of that thing was the Giants. Giants is just terrible.
Oh, so this wasn't a compliment to Seahawks.
Right. I mean, they are great. Devon Witherspoon's been having a great rookie year. They struck gold last year with Tariq Woolen late in the draft. He had an all-pro season at the cornerback position. You got Quandre Diggs back there. Bobby Wagner's back. You got dogs defensively for sure. But the Giants, I mean, they are just so bad. It's like a stat game right now. As defenses, they show up to MetLife or wherever they're playing the Giants, and it's like a stat game. How many sacks can we get? How many pressures? How many picks? It's not looking good, especially with the money. I heard you kind of talk about it earlier. They have an out after next year, I think.
$20 million cap hit after this upcoming season.
Yeah.
So not this season.
Yeah.
The next season. Yeah. So Daboll and Danny are going to be around for at least another 13 games this year and then another 17 next year, and then they're able to get out of that contract. Now, there's been crazier trades in the history of the NFL.
Sure.
Carson Wentz got traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I believe we picked up his whole contract. Jared Goff at the time, whenever he was traded to the Detroit Lions, his entire contract got picked up. What a rebirth for him up there. Yeah. Carson did not work for us. So I'm not saying that trading Danny Dimes is impossible, but it does feel, with the number that he got, with the contract the way it's constructed, they are stuck together for at least another season and a half plus, and I don't know how they're going to be able to get it going. They've been terrible to watch. Last half of the season last year, okay, this is why Danny Dimes got paid.
Oh, yeah. Bingo.
Because remember, O-line the year before was so bad. They had a special teams guy running that team, Joe Judge. He actually ran a dive on like a third down because he wanted to get the punter into the game whenever they're backed up in their own zone. So we couldn't judge Danny Dimes like, this guy's given no shot, no opportunity. Then him and Daboll get together, second half of the year, this is clicking. Here we go. Vanilla Vic is flying around. Saquon's running like he's supposed to run. This team's going to do it. They make the playoffs, big time win in the playoffs. Had to pay Danny Dimes at the time. But there was never a forecast that Danny Dimes settling back into absolute crop. And I'm not saying it's 100% him. I think the offensive line's terrible. I think there's a lot of those situations there. But also play calling hasn't necessarily been something that has made them look better or maybe ease the worries of the offensive line or Danny Dimes. Last night was just an absolute crop show. The way he was describing it, this is year 12 of the offensive line rebuild. And this is worse than it's ever been. It does look bad. But we've seen around the NFL, you can scheme around that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can, there's some things you can do. If you have weapons, I think you can scheme around it. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. With Darren Waller, we have no idea about Hyatt. They know more than we know about Hyatt. We have not seen him in practice. We know what he's going to be capable of in the NFL. We've seen him in college and that whole thing. You can normally scheme a little bit around it, unless it's just complete game records. They have not been able to. I keep saying negative 70. It's negative 79. Over three primetime games. It's almost 80. So I need to make sure I pay proper respects. Kafka also dangling the carrot saying, hey, you can come call plays. It's like, yeah, but if you suck at your job, you suck at your job. Exactly. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. And Daboll has been the guy calling plays. How long is he going to sit back and be like, we're having miscommunications on 3rd and 11. Yeah. I'm getting these questions from Jordan after games. We got this going on. Throwing the Microsoft Surface whenever he knows inside his brain is a guy who has been very successful at utilizing all the pieces. All eyes will be on the Giants as they try to figure it out over the next few weeks. And then we'll just stop talking about them because they'll be ruled out.
For sure.
Completely, especially in that NFC East.
Well, it's like, the offensive line is terrible, but when you look at Danny Dimes, like, he never just plays mediocre. Like, his bad is horrendously bad. Like, same deal last night, fumbling a bunch, throwing bad interceptions, and then he has the flashes where he plays very well. But like, when he doesn't play well, it's like one of the worst games you've ever seen. There's never just he didn't play great, but he didn't play terrible. Like, when he plays bad, everyone's pointing at him like, this guy sucks. How did they pay this guy that much money? And like, there really is no middle room there.
Before he even played a snap last night, he was jogging on the field and they showed a stat. He was 22, 33 and 1 or something as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And now he's 22, 34 and 1. 1-13 in primetime games.
Man.
And I don't want to say, like, as he was jogging on, before the game even started, I see Danny, and ESPN has that thing right behind his head as he's coming onto the field. And I see 22, 33, and 1, and I thought it was an error. I thought it was an error on the graphic. So then I Google. I'm like, there's no way this guy is 22, 30. That's an ugly record.
Yeah.
If that record was on any of the quarterbacks at the top that we talk about, it would be
slaughtered.
An absolute slaughterhouse. But Danny has been given a lot of passes. I think when he got drafted, everybody kind of buried him. Nobody expected him to go. So I think all of us kind of felt bad for the guy. Like, let's see how the guy goes. Had Joe Judge, had Jason Garrett, who hadn't called plays in like 11 years, had a bad offensive line. It was like, let's give him a little bit of leeway here. 22, 34, and 1, 1-13 in primetime games, and he got paid. It's like, people are going to ask a lot of questions, and it's only going to get louder if they keep playing the way they're playing. Nobody cares about how the offensive line is.
No.
Nobody cares about what players are getting called. It is a quarterback-driven league, and if you're a paid quarterback, it's only going to get louder. We're pulling for him, but there's a lot of numbers working against old Danny Dimes right now.
And just thinking about the offseason that the Giants had. Like, if you are Saquon Barkley now, you might be like, oh, okay, sure, I can come back and help this team. But if you're Saquon Barkley and you look back at the Danny Dimes contract, it has to drive you insane. Because he got franchise tagged and the team had success, and it was kind of shown in the Danny Dimes contract because he got $40 million a year, and they paid him before Dexter Lawrence, who eventually got a deal. But if you're Saquon, how can you even be remotely happy with your decision or have any thought like, yeah, you know what? After this year, maybe I will come back because they'll figure out the O-line.
We were in the camp of they had to figure out a deal with Danny. We did not think it was going to be $40-some million a year.
No.
We actually thought Danny was going to be. No, but we thought there was a chance Danny was going to be the first one where it was going to be like
30.
Right.
All right,
30.
25.
25, yeah.
25 million, 30 million because of these stats were being shown and how it went. And he had a great 8 games at the end of the year. They went on a run. They were able to do it. He showed that he and Daboll are going to be a guy. And we're like, maybe Danny Dimes is the one who isn't going to be who's going to top tier quarterback money. He's going to say, you know what? Let's build up this offensive line.
Bingo.
Let's do everything.
Weapons.
Let's do it great. We thought they had to pay him. But I think Rappaport came on and was like, the Danny deal will get done. It'll start with a 4. And we're like, 4? They're gonna give him what? And it was at that moment we realized, Danny Dimes' agent is like, guy won a playoff game, had Joe Judge, bad offensive line. They were selling for as much money as possible. Now they got another year with that deal before they can get out of it. They're going to have to make it work. Saquon coming back will hopefully help, but I don't know how much can help just Swiss cheese
Oh, my God.
in front and then not even a thought of how we handle that. Oh, we'll have Darren Waller chipping. It's like, bring in your swing tackle. Don't have put flank Darren Waller out. Bring in your swing tackle to help out. Line him up at tight end if you have to do something. Maybe have 22 personnel. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Maybe have 2 running backs, your swing guard or center, running back right here.
Yeah.
Then your swing tackle, backup tight end right there. And then just have Darren Waller outside one-on-one. And then just park everybody in there and hope that you can protect Danny Dimes and have him make plays. But maybe it's just how good the Seattle Seahawks are, who we have not talked about. DK Metcalf, back.
Dog.
DK Metcalf,
Large.
Kenny Walker III.
Ooh.
He runs.
Dog.
He runs so hard. Who's the tight end that was running down the sideline?
No
No
offense.
fan.
Unbelievable. I mean, they got a team out there yet again. Geno didn't have to do a damn thing, and they get a massive win because of how good their defense is. They fall into the category of being so far away.
Yeah.
Like Seattle is so far away. And in the NFC West, there's a lot of talking points and a lot of teams. Most of all, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
So the Seahawks don't really get in there. Pete Carroll is one of these coaches who's always going to have a team that's going to be great. And they had a massive win on Monday Night Football. Congratulations to them.
We go Seahawks.